Starscream Kills presents, in a geeky guy production, Vamping It Up. Now I'd like to talk about the spells. First off, I'd like to state what you have. We're talking 4 Feasts of Blood, 4 Hideous End, 4 Sign in Blood, 3 Duress, and 2 Blood Chief Ascension. Remember, again, we have to stick within the strategy of how you're piloting this deck. What's the strategy it comes with? We can always put everything and the kitchen sink in a deck, but we have to answer the question, why? For example, when I'm doing human services with someone, I have to be empathic. You want to know why? Because it's human nature to not share painful issues with somebody for referral services if you don't think that fuck cares. It's very simple. It's a protective measure, and even empathy in that situation has a purpose. I have met therapists and human services professionals that just give out empathy with no purpose, and guess what? They get frustrated, their clients get frustrated because they're like a drug dealer, except their drug of choice that they're pushing is empathy. It has to have a purpose. Empathy is an anesthetic that lets people deal with pain. So, similarly speaking, when we come to spells, we come to cards, you have to answer the question, why is it in here? And you have to justify that. Now, Feast of Blood is cheaper than Tendrils of Corruption. Yes, it's not an instant. However, a 4-cost instant is an expensive instant. So this is half the cost. Also, you're going to get all 4 of these in your 2 intro packs, and it's going to give you 4 life. I usually net 4 life out of Tendrils because the deck I'm running right now is a black-green. So that's what I tend to get anyway. So this is cool. It kills a creature. Doesn't matter how powerful the creature is. It's dead, and you get 4 life. Cool deal. We're going to have 2 vampires. Easy catch. Hideous End. Now, people have been on this card. It is an instant, which is nice. It's 1 more than a Doomblade. Okay. However, the opponent gets pricked for 2 points of life. And remember, we've got cards like Vampire Lacerator and Ghoul Draz Vampire that, they tell us, hey, you need to get under 10, because if you don't, if the person is not 10 or under, you paying 1 life. And Ghoul Draz, she becomes pretty kick-ass. She becomes a 3/2 Intimidate when they're 10 and under. So we've got to get them down quick. And so that card works better than Doomblade in that sense. Sign in Blood is a tempo card, and also it does take life off you, and in a pinch you can make them draw cards to lose life. Duress is interesting to note. First off, Anthony Palmerio says you don't use this as a turn 1 card. This is like a turn 3, 4, 5 card to knock out their Day of Judgment, Volcanic Fallout, Infest, these kinds of things. That's going to wipe out all our aggro creatures. And then the Blood Chief Ascension. Blood Chief Ascension, again, it's knocking down that down with their life. And that's the point with the 1 drop. Now again, you can't as-you me that you're going to get this card. That's to assume, because assuming makes an ass out of you and me. And what it is I got 1 of these in a whole booster box of Zendikar, so do take note. I did spring for another 4, but only 2 are required in this deck. It is probably the most pricey item in the deck. Now, that's the rationale behind the spell cards. Now we get into lands. Now this is where I deviate the most from Anthony Palmerio. Anthony has a lot of fetch lands at this point. For me, that's extremely expensive. Paperboard, that's what they call this. It's not cardboard, paperboard. And I just don't have that kind of money. He likes 4 Verdant Catacombs and 2 Marsh Flats. So that's a total of 6 fetch lands. And the real purpose behind that is more of a PTQ one versus a kitchen table one. The reason is to psych out your opponent that you're splashing white, or that you're a Jund aggro deck. That's sort of the aggro deck du jour of the day. I do have some Dragon Skull Summits, like 4 of them. I could put those in here. Oh well, whatever. So what I did run, because I wanted to be quick, the problem with the Dragon Skull Summit is if you don't have a swamp already in play, it comes in tapped. And so I already have some cards that are doing that. I don't like that. So I went with 16 Swamps. They go in, they're good, they're awesome. I did run 4 Piranha Marsh, and yes, this is horrible. It comes in tapped, but it causes the person, your opponent, 1 point of life for each time it comes in, and they can only respond to it. They can't negate it. You're going to get all 4 of those in your intro boxes, because you'll get 2 in each. Now, Crypt of Agdaman. This one, don't as you me, you'll get this card. I only got 1 out of the whole booster box, okay? I did order another 4, which was relatively inexpensive, but still, don't as you me that you'll get these things for free. Any rate, this is for a later game move to get the Malakar Blood Witch in cheaper than maybe her full cost of 5, so you get her in for 3 instead, or 2, excuse me. And you have some dead vampires already. This also, if you wanted, because in the intro box you do get Blood Tribute, which is a nice rare card. You will end up with 2 of these cards, and they also are helpful in this strategy. So not necessarily bad if you wanted to have a thought about a card to switch in, because again, you've got to stick within the strategy. You know, it's not enough that you put the kitchen sink or your favorite cards in. What's the strategy of the deck you're piloting? You've got to stay within the frame. So anyway, those are the choices I made in land, again, to try to, for the overall purpose of quick, hurt, get them down to 10, those kinds of things. So now I'm going to move into sideboard.